Hi everyone, this is Brent from the 3ds Max product team, and I'm going to give you guys a bit of an overview of the changes that we've made to the hotkey and keyboard shortcut system in 3ds Max 2020 Update 1. So let's get started. In this update, you'll not only notice that we have a brand new keyboard shortcut default layout, but we also have a new tool, the Hotkey editor, to help you with customizing the hotkeys in 3ds Max. Now, before we get started with the product demo, I'd like to give a quick shout out to one of our amazing QAs, Giuseppe, who's lent me this incredible 3D prototype car model to give us something pretty to look at while we demo the product. To access the Hotkey editor, you'll find it in the familiar Customize menu directly under the old Customize User Interface menu item. Before I go into the Hotkey editor, I will click on this item just to show you a bit of the differences that we've done to this dialog. Inside the Keyboard tab, you'll see that we have a message suggesting that hotkeys have changed. We have a link to the documentation to understand what those changes are, as well as some instructions about where to find the new Hotkey editor. So now, if we close this dialog and go back and open the Hotkey editor, you'll see a brand new dialog that has some similarities with the old dialog, except you'll notice a couple of new features that we're going to go through one by one. The first new feature that I'm going to talk about is this new search bar. This was by far the most requested feature as soon as you started touching hotkeys. It's going to enable you to find your actions even if you don't know the exact names or the exact groups that they're categorized by. For example, many of you are familiar with the global search command that's activated by the default hotkey X. But what is that action actually called? When I go into the Hotkey editor search bar, now I can type the word search and instantly get results of any actions that match my search terms. I'm also able to search by hotkey assignment, so that if I know the action that I'm trying to execute is executed by X, I can search it that way, or I can search by any other combination of hotkeys. So now let's move on to the next workflow, assigning a new hotkey. Once I've located the action that I wish to assign a new hotkey to, I can move over to this part of the UI, type my new hotkey, understand where my conflicts are, remove them, that's typical of the old workflow, but also get some undo history if I've actually made a mistake. Here I can undo it, but if I really want T, I can actually keep it, assign it, and now I get a list of all the hotkeys that are currently assigned to that action. Another way to find actions that you wish to assign new hotkeys to is by using the group filter, but it should be known that filters are cumulative, so you should clear your search terms before you apply any additional filters. Using this group filter should be familiar to those of you who have used the customized user interface dialog in the past, and this lists all possible contexts within 3ds Max that contain actions. So if I want to only look at actions that pertain to the main UI or the material editor, I can use this filter to narrow down that list. What's new in this update is this group filter now contains an all groups filter, and this is the default setting. This shows you all the actions within all contexts all the time. Now, assuming that you have found all the actions that you wish to make hotkey changes to and you've completed your changes, you can use this additional filter to look by assigned hotkeys only, which will filter out all empty values, customized hotkeys only, which will show only what you have customized, and unsaved changes only, which in this case represent the exact same thing because we have not completed our changes. You'll also notice that the current hotkey set now has an unsaved changes label applied to it. If I were to press this save button, we would expect that this filter would return empty results. Now, as I walk through a typical save workflow, I'm also going to take that opportunity to explain some of the differences in the way that we actually save user-defined hotkey changes. So, I'm going to press that save button, and you'll see that it's going to ask me to save my changes inside of 3ds Max 2020 user settings folder in an HSX file format, which is a departure from the legacy .kbtx format. The main difference between these two formats is that in the HSX file, we are only going to save the changes that you have made to the keyboard shortcuts, meaning we can retain the changes that you make and apply them to any other set of defaults in the future. I'll go ahead and give this a custom name, save this, and immediately you will see that the unsaved changes label is gone. I have a new hotkey set that matches the name that I just gave, and this is now my active set. If I were to click on this gear icon, go to Open File Locations, I'll go back to that user settings directory. To change that directory, you can do so in the Customize menu, Customize User and System Paths, and modify the user settings entry. So let's go ahead and close this, and I'll move on to our next feature. The next feature that I'm going to showcase is the Import Legacy Hotkeys command. What this command is going to do is allow you to import a legacy .kbtx format into 3ds Max 2020 and convert that file to a .hsx format. What's going on under the hood is it's comparing that KBTX file that you have created in the previous version of Max and going to strip out what you have changed versus what was the default and generate a new HSX file based on those changes. So let's go ahead and do that workflow. In this case, I have a 2019.kbtx file that I've customized. I'm going to import it. Here it tells me that it's converted and loaded. The new file, 2019.hsx, is now saved in my user settings folder. I can open that file location if I want to examine it, and you'll see that it's preloaded as a new hotkey set. If I change this filter to customize hotkeys only, you'll see that the changes that I made in 2019, adding my name to a couple of keyboard shortcuts, has persisted. If we go and open that file location and look at one of these HSX files in any text editor, you'll see, as I mentioned before, that this only contains the changes that I have made. So let's close this and get back to Max. The last feature that I'm going to showcase is the hotkey set configuration selector. In this part of the UI, I can choose between any of the HSX files that are currently in my user settings folder, or any of the presets that we ship with 3ds Max, those being the default and the Maya mode presets. You'll notice that these have a little padlock icon indicating that they are read-only, and they are sorted in a different location that are outside of user settings. If I click on one of these, I can easily swap back to the default. I can go to Maya mode, or any of my custom keyboard shortcuts, all via this bar. We hope that you enjoy these new features and the new hotkey editor tool in 3ds Max 2020 Update 1. If you have any questions about the usage of this, please feel free to visit our forums, where we'd be happy to answer any questions, or to join our beta program via feedback.autodesk.com.